Right.
The Gremlins are in the building.
Apologies to everybody in the comments. Me and Jed have just been sitting talking away for a good 10 minutes there or so, and then I just noticed up in the corner. There's a wee bit in the corner that tells us we're live, and then it was saying it was scheduled. Stephen and McGinty have been mucking about to try and get when you press go live to automatically play an intro, and it confused me one day because I used to have to automatically play press the intro, then press go live. But then they've changed it, and it's obviously Stephen told me to put it back to the original, and he hadn't. And I thought we were live, and I just seen in the corner we weren't. So I'm really sorry to everybody in the comments. I was actually bringing folk. I don't know if it would even show up, but I was bringing folks' comments up and everything. So I apologise to folk in the comments. But
I can't see the comments, mate. So if you can, any comments,
I'll read them. It was just obviously folk just saying hello and things like that, and welcome along and stuff. So I was kind of just bringing their comments up. But no, as I say, welcome along to the latest edition of the podcast. We've had a shocker at the start here, Jed. Well, I've had a shocker, but obviously midweek there, Wednesday night at home to Dundee United. Could have been a tricky game. Jim Goodwin's got the team playing well. There is a tricky team to beat. Cold night as well. We're talking on air. Well, I say on air, but we thought we were on air. We're saying it was a cold night. But what did you make of the game?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to repeat myself. I don't know if we're live there. Yeah, I thought we played very well in the first half. Dundee United came into it more in the second half. But overall, we totally deserved the 3 points. And yeah, we move on to tomorrow, to Ross County. So we do. I thought there were a lot of standout players. Like Engels, I mentioned, I thought he had a good game. I thought Trust had a good game. And Maeda, he just kept running and running, tried his best, and he took his goal well. So, yeah, that was it.
And then we'll just kind of talk about Maeda and the goal. Like say, he was the one that scored the first goal, eh? He did score the first goal, Maeda.
Yeah.
Taking it well was a nice controlled finish, and I think that's something he's brought to his game. It feels that he's brought to his game. He used to be, I can't remember who I've heard saying it, but I've heard it somewhere that it was almost like every time he got the ball, it looked like he was a kid trying to control a ball in at a kid's party, essentially. Mm-hmm. But this season, he just seems to be a lot more composed in the ball. Everything, you still get that, but Maeda madness that you kind of associate with him. But I think in the main, he's certainly got, technique-wise, it looks like Rodgers got him playing better. I don't know if you kind of share the same sort of thought process with Maeda.
Well, he scored a lot more goals, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
And he scored some very big goals for us this season. I think it was getting to this day. He's one of the players well said, we criticise him and everything, but then if you name your starting 11, he's always there because you know what he can do. So you can. He didn't have a good game in the second, but no one did. So but you can't expect players to be playing at 100% every game.
No, knowing the sort of I'd say not the sort of pace and intensity Maeda does, but the guy just doesn't seem to stop it. Just he always seems to do it, and I just think he's an integral part to the team. And then I've seen even with Kyogo and Ida struggling a wee bit. I would caveat with saying that it feels we don't create a lot of chances for the strikers now. It's maybe just the way we're playing.
Yeah.
And folk have talked about putting Maeda through the middle, but it's what you lose if you take him out the left, I think.
Yeah, I felt sorry a wee bit for Ida the other night because he wasn't really getting the service. we were getting some of the balls in, but he wasn't there. Now you can say, well, he should have been there, but he wasn't. I just felt at times he was crying out for the ball, and they weren't giving it, and we were trying to pass through them to get through it, because at times they were going to a back five a lot as well, especially in the first half. So they were very, very difficult to break down. Hence why McGowan had the shot from just outside the box. Keeper saved it, and then Maeda was there to put it away. But I mean, I really want Ida to score, but just to give him a wee confidence boost. But he's maybe one of these players. Is he better coming off the bench? He seems to be.
It's certainly going. I know he obviously started a few games on the loan, but it feels like his bigger moments were coming off. I know, like the Hibs game is the only one I can think where he started, and obviously had the 2 goals there. But you look at the Motherwell game where he scored, the Rangers game at Ibrox, and obviously the cup final. A lot of his bigger moments, it felt like came for the subs bench and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, the only game it really stands out where he played for the full 90 started was at Kilmarnock when we won the league last season. He was outstanding.
Oh, he was outstanding
that night, and I think then that's whenever all the fans were saying, "Oh, we need to sign him. We need to sign him." He's not got back. He's not played like that yet. I just needs a wee confidence boost. But so does Kyogo.
It feels like two of them need a wee bit. You could argue the both of them need a run, but the way Brendan Rodgers only plays with one striker, so it's hard to give both of them a run, I feel like, and it does feel like Ida gets involved more now, I feel, than Kyogo, but I think it would be hard. You maybe more sort of a history Kyogo now, you would maybe pick Kyogo certainly before Ida, but it does feel for me Ida just needs a big moment or a big couple of moments, and I think he'll kick on. But hopefully in the second part of the season that's what he'll do. But we'll kind of stick with the Dundee United game now, Jed, and we'll move on to that. Like you say, it was the first half. We dominated it in the main. We'll go into the second half. Again, we're pretty dominant in that, but obviously as the game goes on, Dundee United get a wee bit of confidence because they're still in it. And I wouldn't say we had any. I can't really think of any sort of shaky moments that we had. But obviously Brendan Rodgers freshens it up with some substitutes. Palmer comes at Yang, who I've tried to. I mean, even Stephen and Ross, we've tried to stick up for this guy, but personally for myself, it feels like that's just it's kind of gone for him now. Palmer came on, and I feel like he done a lot more in that 15 minutes than Yang done in the 60, 70 minutes that he was on for. And obviously Palmer was involved in the goal. He puts in his cross in, and it felt like Bernardo done everything bar touch the ball, but what he done made that goal. So it was like he sort of dummied the cross over, and then I can't remember who cuts it back, and he dummies it again, and then it Fosse Hatate, and Hatate slots it away. Brilliant.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. It was a great ball for Palmer, but before it, just like a few minutes before it, he put the ball out, and the fans are starting to grumble again. And I'm like, oh, please, just give him a wee chance. It can't be easy. And I know we can all say where we believe their Celtic class or not, but when they're playing for us, just try and support them. I'm not personally. I don't give abuse to any of my own players when I'm at the game. You're maybe angry. You might say, "Oh shit, you can do better than that." But yeah, he did put in a great ball, and it was a great. Where I was, I'm thinking, oh no, we mocked it up because but you can see done the dummy, let it go through his leg.
The two dummies are deliberate for Bernardo. They're brilliant.
And a great finish with his left foot as well from Hatate. So it was.
And then
and then the stadium emptied after that. You could just see everybody. Everyone.
I did maybe just had enough of the weather.
It was. I mean,
it's been Baltic all week. To be fair,
it was cold, but we stayed right to the end. So
fair play to everybody that did turn up on the night, and fair play to folk like yourself and your daughter Jed that stuck it out for the 90 plus minutes, because I can remember when I had the season ticket and you went to the nights, it was when, not that it was a bad game to watch or anything, but sometimes you were just like, I'd rather just be back in the house at this point. I'd rather be back. So fair play to the fans that went. And just while we're on the sort of the fans. Obviously, there was the comments made by Brendan Rodgers after the previous home game about songs being sung. Obviously, the moaning and groaning, but I more want to kind of focus on the songs that the Green Brigade and the Celtic fans were singing, who, personally, the way I was sort of looking at the time, I was like, it's just the petty nature of them. But then I've kind of been reflecting a wee bit and going, was it maybe they've just dealt with it absolutely brilliant because they've kind of sung a back catalogue of players.
Yeah.
And maybe it's a wee bit of sense of humour from them, which has been ideal. Then obviously Brendan Rodgers has taken that into his interview and said what he's said about everybody bar the kit man got done it. So I think Brendan on reflection, I think the fans have dealt with it in the right way. They've taken Brendan Rodgers' criticism the right way, if you like, or his comments the right way. And then Brendan Rodgers equally has then went and just he's nipped it in the bud really, and he's taken it as a joke as it's potentially been, or certainly if it wasn't meant as a joke, he's made it seem like a joke.
Yeah, I mean, at the game when they were singing, we were joking. Wonder what they're singing next. We're saying, is it going to be Moussa Dembele? And then they were singing Martin, about Billy McNeil and the old Jimmy Johnson on the wing. I mean, listen, I was laughing some of the songs that we get. And by the way, they sung a few songs that I think are brilliant as well. So I quite enjoyed it. And like you said, Rodgers came out and he could have says, look, hats off to the guys. They were funny. They went through a full repertoire of players, and that would have been it. Made a joke, another wee joke about it, and that's it. We move on.
Nah, totally. And McLaughlin Police is saying John Clark would have deserved a wee song. That'd have been interesting if he could have sung one about that when the Brendan Rodgers story, where apparently he said that John Clark, obviously, when he first came around, it was Brendan Rodgers said, as long as I'm here, you'll have a job or something. And apparently it came out that was a lie or something. But that would have been fun if they could sing a song about John Clark.
I've seen as well. I seen on social media earlier that Austin Trusty commenting on the song. They were singing Bhoys for him, and CCV thinks it's brilliant. So, look, it was.
It's good that the players can
taken in good spirit. So
yes, and that's and I think, like you say,
when Greg Taylor had the ball, no booing or anything, there were nobody on his back.
Good. Yeah, good, because I think he has come under a wee bit of unfair criticism. I think maybe if, again, obviously a week later or whatever, you've got time to reflect on that Tierney song. I don't think the fans were singing it to have a go at Greg Taylor. And if Greg Taylor's taking it that way, I think that's kind of more on him, without trying to totally sound like I'm criticising. I think that's more on him. But I totally back Brendan Rodgers and backing his player. But maybe Greg Taylor's now realised that it wasn't about them not liking me. It's maybe getting excited about potentially, let's not be beat around the bush. If Kieran Tierney's fit and firing as a genuine world-class player, we could potentially be getting back. It's no any dud at the end of the day.
And I think as well, Franny, there was comments made in the group as well. There's still a lot of fans not forgiving Brendan Rodgers for the way he left the club. If that was, say, Ange, because Ange made that comment 2 years ago, there would have been no outcry with this, because Ange never left under a cloud. He waited to the end of the season before he went. And so Rodgers has to accept that as well. There's still a lot of people are not happy that the way he left the club. And is it going to take a treble this year for people to say, right, okay, Brendan, thank you? Or is people, because you've already seen it in social media, people are saying, oh, is this him working his way out now?
I know, it's madness. And I kind of touched on that on Monday with Stephen and Ampin and McGinty. I think a lot of the frustrations for the fans, or certainly online after Brendan Rodgers' comments, were probably based around the fact that a lot of them thought they'd forgave him, but then soon realised they hadn't 100% gave him for leaving. Yeah, I think some of that just kind of came out online. I think some of that just came out in the fans that they're happy, probably happy that he's back, but not totally over why he left. Which
he's not forgiven.
That's it. He's not fully forgiven, and that's every fan's given, right? If I think that every fan obviously wants success for the team, regardless of who's the manager, probably, and what they think of the manager. So it's their given right to how they feel. But we'll kind of go back to the Dundee United game in the sense of talking about Engels. We were talking about him prior to going live when we thought we were live. I think the last sort of 4 games, he started to hit a bit of foot. Obviously, when he first came in, he was absolutely flying. He looked every an £11 million player you expect to get, and that when you're shelling out that kind of money. Then obviously the guy had a bit of a dip, which is probably natural. You consider he was only 20, 21 when he came in to a new country, and he's obviously got that price tag hanging over him. He's a record signing that maybe can't have been an easy thing to handle at his age. And obviously he was coming under maybe some unfair criticism because maybe folk were expecting him just to rip it up week in, week out. Then obviously, as I said before, a couple of games before the Rangers game, he has 2 good games there. Unfortunately, I think Brendan Rodgers said he was meant to be starting the Rangers game. Now, I'm not going to say Engels would have been the difference that day. Everybody was off at that day.
Mm-hmm.
But he never started that game, and then he's came in the 2 games after it and been absolutely frightened. Do you think maybe that's him got to come back into form? He's now settled, or he's maybe for the first season he's still just kind of got to have these wee peaks and troughs, I feel like?
Well, Franny, what I've noticed, I don't know if anyone else has noticed this, in the last few games where he started, my complaint, or no complaint, some of the issues had been was he thought he had more time in the ball than he did. He didn't realise that Scotland, the boys are just going to go through you. And to me, he seems more aware of what's happening around him, who's near him, the opposition players. So I could see an improvement in that. And he is, a few games ago when he was going through the bad spell, he was kind of hiding. The other night in that, he was looking for the ball, he was wanting the ball. So that's going to help. But yeah, and again, it's not his fault. You know, he's the most expensive player. The £11 million. You know, the blank checkbook that we got out is seemingly, we're lucky to have a blank checkbook or whatever. And,
I know.
You know, but we'll leave it at that. But it's not his fault. No player, no matter who it is, sets their price. No player. It's the club, the selling club. So where is £1 million or £11 million? He's coming in. He's a young guy. If you think back to when you were 20, 21, my God, you still had a lot of growing up to do. But here's a guy going into a new country. I don't know who he brought over with him. If his girlfriend or a member of his family, I don't know if he's just came himself. A totally new culture. And he's probably never been in a city where it's so intense. The rivalry. So it takes time to adjust, and I think he's going to get there. We are going to see the fruition of him. And was it Carl McGregor said that even after the first training session they had with him, they went, "This boy's a player." So the signs are looking good. Let's see how he does to the end of the season. But
I know.
Look at Kuhn. Look at Kuhn.
It's perfect example, Jed. Perfect example.
And look at him now. He's been phenomenal. He's the player of the year so far in Scotland. So let's hope those can carry on. But like I say, he's a young guy.
Aye. No, it's a good point that I've never even considered that. Who is he over here with at the end of the day? Has he came over himself, or like you say, has he brought any friends or family over to try and help him settle? Because you know, it's at that age, it's not easy. Won't know the city, if you like, to where to go out and things like that, just to socialise or let loose, if you like, just to get a wee bit. So
I mean, he will learn quick. You know, people tell right, you don't go into that bar, you don't go into this. Yeah, you'll be fine. And there'll be certain restaurants and things like that as well. The players will tend to stick to as well. So it's a whole new learning curve for him. Yeah.
I know, I totally agree. I'm all excited with the guy. Personally, I think we will see sort of peaks and troughs to the end of the season. I think we'll maybe see the best of him starting of next season. Like, I still think we'll get plenty of good performances off him, but I don't envision him being at this standard all the way. I mean, I hope he is, but I just feel like it's age with a lot of things that you've said there, Jed, that he will just he'll have wee dips here and there. And he won't play every game because we've seen that Rodgers likes to rotate that midfield. Bernardo's been really good since he came in. Even McCowan is he's an absolute steal for me at 1 million.
Yeah.
He looks really good on the. I would even like Hatate's kind of been frustrating me this season. I would probably have McCowan ahead of Hatate. I don't know what you thought of McCowan.
Yeah, I mean, I was delighted when we got McGowan in because I do think he's a decent player. And yeah, not just you, Franny, we've all been frustrated with Hatate because sometimes when he gives the ball away, he doesn't chase back. It's like, oh, well, I've gave it away now. And especially that derby game. Oh, my God. That was just, he was horrendous. If any club was looking at that game to see, we maybe look at Hatate, they would probably think, well, we'll no bother, we'll look elsewhere. He was that bad in that game. But we all were. But he in particular, I thought was shocking. And
the way he plays it, he kind of loses that. And
yeah.
if it doesn't come off, it's losing it in key areas. And who's the snitch is saying Hatate blows hot and cold in it? And I think it is that. I mean, without trying to sort of down place. Oh yes, he is. He is a top player when he's on it, and I think it's one of the ones where we're not going to have a team of superstars. Unfortunately, yes, Celtic's a big club, but we're not going to have guys that are 9 out of 10 every week because they're just like we keep saying it about even Maeda. If the guy had all the technical ability that could back up his work ethic and that, he wouldn't be at Celtic at the end of the day. They would be at a lot higher standard, or playing at a better standard. But I think we've got a good blend of players in there, and I mean, even guys like Alistair Johnson seems to have taken his game on a wee bit even more. But I think just in the forward areas, we need to Kyogo, and I said I need a wee run. But speaking of Kyogo, we'll kind of talk about the sort of rumours that came out the other day that the MLS had put a tweet out saying that it signed for signed for Atlanta United. That was quickly deleted. Then Atlanta United released a thing how they'd signed another Japanese player. And then obviously the MLS have apologised to Celtic and stuff and said that it was a mistake. I don't know where you are with, Jed. Do you think it's a mistake, or do you think it's delaying inevitable?
I do think it's a mistake. I think if it does go, it'll be in the summer. Because, as you know, with our selling club, and we're probably thinking this is where we're probably going to get the highest value for him. But it's just unfortunate that's the way. It's not unfortunate. It's just the way our club is run.
Yeah.
Bring these people in and lower transfer fees, hoping to make them better, and then punt them off for a major profit. But that's we need to be looking. The club, the scouting system should already be looking now for successors to all positions in case we do lose anyone. And I hope they are. I hope they do, because there is a few positions that we badly need cover for, and we need cover now, not in the summer.
No, totally. And I think that's where we need to sort of be, especially with the Champions League qualifiers. In an ideal scenario, I think we need to try and get guys in and out to try and bed them in so they're ready and firing for the qualifiers, unless we do business early doors in the summer. But to try and get probably that next level player, it's not going to be easy to get them in as early in the summer. But I am kind of with you with the Kyogo one. I think it has just been a massive error, because there was tweets going about Atlanta as well that they'd sort of had done a wee teaser video of a Japanese sort of a background and stuff, and obviously Kyogo had been linked, I think, in our summer to going to that club.
Yeah.
So I think folk were putting 2 and 2 together, but I think it's just been a massive admin error.
Moved on.
Giacomakis went there, but then he's went to a Mexican club.
Yeah.
He's went to a Mexican club. So there is links, and obviously. And I think that's maybe one of them as well. It's maybe been a lazy link as well. They thought, oh well, Dyler's there, he knows about Celtic, but just kind of sticking with Kyle, because obviously by the end of the season that'll be 4 years he's been here, 4 or 5, 4 year I 4 year it'll be, because obviously Ange was only here for 2 years,
Mm-hmm.
and obviously he'll be, well, he's 30 now, so he might be 31 by the time the summer window. Do you think maybe? No, I'm not wishing Kyle go away because I think he's a fantastic player, but we obviously have talked about how many they're just not really hitting the heights that we know they can hit. I think a lot of that's maybe a wee bit down to the way we're not creating as much chances for the strikers as opposed to them. Certainly Kyle was sort of a bit on the decline, but do you think maybe in the summer guys like Kyago and even maybe Hatate as well, it might just be the natural progression just to move them on and bring fresh blood in just to freshen the place up, if you like?
Yeah, I mean, as I touched on earlier, this is probably going to be their highest value. So if they can punt them at a reasonable amount of money, and as long as I've got players coming in who, well, ideally you're wanting players coming in that's going to take us to the next level.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, they cost a lot of money. And I think it is going to be another Engels type signing where it will be a lot of money, but with someone with a lot of potential.
Yeah.
So, well.
No, I think that's, I mean, the boy, Fitzgarden, however you say it, his name just doesn't seem to go away. I don't know what kind of money they're talking about for him, but I think the last link it was about 6 million. So they say it'll be maybe not quite Engels money, but it'll be there or thereabouts. I think we like say you're buying potential, but it's potential that's less risk, if you like. You're not gambling on a £2 to £3 million player working out. It's a guy that's maybe got to hit the ground running a wee bit quicker. So we'll just kind of see how that sort of plays out. As I say, I'm not wishing Kyle go away because I think he's a fantastic striker. But I just feel maybe it's just a natural progression for him to go. And obviously, one guy that looks like they're going out the door is Alexandro Bernabe for a reported £5 million.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how we've managed to do that, Jed, for him.
I just keep quiet with that. We'll brush that. We'll move on. So, I know.
It's absolute madness. I mean, we can slate Peter Law on the board for a lot of things, but God Almighty, for getting deals for transfers, they ken what they're doing. When I mean, can't we got £3 million for Mikey Johnson as well?
I know
some of the money they seem to get for players is unreal.
I know, but see, talking about selling players, if Kyogo and Hatate do want to leave in the summer, they've got a minimum of 2 games still left in Europe. Okay, minimum. Let's hope it's 4 when we get to the playoff. There won't be a better place to showcase your skills than the next 2 games against Young Boys and Aston Villa.
Yeah.
So if they want to get their name put out there where they can maybe go to, I know, whether it be down south or Italy or Spain, wherever it is, it's up to you guys. Let's see what you can do in the next few games.
Totally.
Yourself.
Well, that's it. If they want, I mean, I don't know. We kind of turn into sort of body language experts. It's just a lot of stuff that you read online as well, and folk are obviously saying Hatate wants away. I don't know. It maybe doesn't. It maybe it's just a natural thing. We keep saying football's a short career and things, so these guys have got to financially look after themselves as well.
One more big move in him to make to double his wages or whatever.
Especially if it goes down south, they tend to sign longer deals, and for some of these players, whether we like it or not, the Premier League's the holy grail for these. Whether it's going to, I mean, Brighton's not necessarily a bad example. Maybe a bad example to use in terms of how that club's run, but even like your Crystal Palaces of the world,
look at your Bournemouth,
Southamptons, and even Bournemouth and your Leicester's, teams that are maybe not fashionable teams, but if they're in the Premiership, it's the holy grail for a lot of these players. So I know it's maybe hard to take, but the money they can make when they go down there is absolutely ridiculous.
But Franny, we sign these players to say, look, put yourself in the shop with UK, and look at the other players we have signed and we've let them move on. So that's part of the,
it's a model, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the benefits. One of the benefits that coming to us, you're coming to a big club, you'll get European football, put yourself in the window, and it'll give you the opportunity to move on and make some serious money.
No, it's not nice to maybe say Celtic is a bit of a stepping stone, but I'm not saying sell the club as a stepping stone, but we kind of are in a way, and it's how we're going to get maybe your Engels of the world who are clearly are well thought of, but maybe just clubs are not willing to take that step on him or that gamble until he goes to a Celtic and proves it at a decent level, where some folk maybe not think the Scottish League's the greatest, but the demand at Celtic having to win every game, even in Europe, having to perform in Europe, it really shows the character of a player and stuff. And we'll kind of just move on for that, Jed, because I know transfer rumours are your forte. You're no mean Stephen that just get involved in absolutely every piece of nonsense that's going about. But we'll just kind of look ahead to what could be a tricky game up in Dingwall. Obviously, Ross County are on a decent runway. I think it's Don Cowie, their manager. They've obviously just recently won 3 games away from home for the first time, I think I'd said, in their history. So they're on a good wee run. Again, it sounds like a silly excuse, but the weather, it's an early kick-off. I assume we will travel up. Well, we've travelled up the day anyway, especially because of the weather.
Probably,
just so there's no
probably flew up as well, Franny. Probably flew
up.
Maybe
Inverness and might just stay in Inverness. It's only half an hour, I think it is, to Dingwall for there.
Yeah.
So they maybe stayed in Inverness, I would assume, the night, especially due to the weather and it being such an early kick-off. But are you looking forward to that game? It could be a tricky game.
I'm looking forward. I mean, if you think the last time we were up there, it took the Coon goal for us to win 2-1. We got Ross County scored with the penalty. We were 1-0 down at half time, weren't we, in the game?
That's right.
It's one of these games. They are going to be up for it, because that was it Kilmarnock they beat last week 3-0 at Kilmarnock.
That's right.
And also that's only going to give them confidence. They've got some big boys in the team as well. So so it's going to be fun. So we need to be up for it. We need to be at them from the first kick. For the first minute, we need to be moving the ball quick, getting it. If we can get an early goal, because I think no matter who we're playing, if we get the first goal, early goal especially, their plan's out the window.
Aye.
So they need to open up a little bit to come at us to try and get the equaliser. So it's who we play tomorrow when you know who we've got missing. Coon's not available. Maeda's not available. Palmer won't be available. So we've got one recognised winger in Yang. Now, I know we spoke earlier and well, there you go.
I was just about to say it because I know I've had a feeling you might bring this up.
I commented on, should we go back to the 4-4-2? Now, Kevin, you remember, you're a wee bit older than me, where that's how Celtic played. With Larson, and even before Larson that came, but when Larson and Sutton was very successful, Larson with Hapson, but then who do you put in the middle? Do we play McGowan on the left?
I think that I'm not against the 4-4-2. It's
just a system we're not
formation we play. It's a system we're not used to playing. But I think if you play the 4-4-2 or even stick to the sort of 4-3-3 that Rodgers doing, it's who's playing wide left at the end of the day, unless he puts Yang over there. But then you've got the issue who's playing wide right then. So I think it's just who's occupying the wide area. Right.
For me now, the more since I put that in their comment earlier, what about trying 4-4-2? I've actually thought about it more. We could maybe play Kyogo out the wing, or we could bring in Valley.
Aye, because it does like getting forward. I mean, I think again it's maybe just been a wee bit lazy. I think we might put McCowan out there. Just simply he's been playing well, keeps him around the team. But has he got the pace to play out there? Maybe if he plays in a 4-4, if you play the 4-4-2, it might suit McCown because it's not really.
Well, he was used to that
up and down.
He was just at Dundee, because Dundee don't play with wingers.
No. They're playing a wee bit. So that kind of could suit him, and you're not necessarily giving up the left hand side, but probably your more attacks will come down the right hand side with Yang or. Yang and Johnson, or he might even put McCowan out there for McCowan to come in, play similar to how Kuhn plays, and put Yang out in the left. We just don't know. It's got to be one of the ones. suck it and see them more. But I'm not against Kyogo playing out there to maybe get him and Ida up in the game and maybe going old-fashioned with the big man and wee man up front.
Franny, can I ask, does anybody, the boy Kenny has came back on loan, is he registered in the squad to play?
I'm assuming he is, because I don't think we're like England where we need to name something like 25 players or 23 players. Obviously, we need to do it for the Champions League.
Right,
so I'm assuming he's not registered, but I believe in Scotland we don't need to have a registered, allocated X amount of players when it comes to domestic football. I think we've pretty much got free reign on that, especially guys like Kenny, which I think would class as like your B squad, I feel like, and they don't really count, I feel like. But I don't believe we need to sort of name a squad. So I think he could be there, and it's an interesting one because it's. On one hand, I know we kind of brought Johnny Kenny in from the League of Ireland, and we've obviously shipped him back out there on loan. But we're always talking about trying to bring youth through and push you through. You've obviously got the lad Daniel Cummins that seems to be doing well for the B squad. Then you've also got Johnny Kenny, who was shipped out to Ireland, and he's done everything he can do over there
in Europe as well.
And he scored in Europe, and I'm not going to pretend to have watched any of his games, but you kind of keep a wee eye on their score lines and see if he scored at the end of the day. And it seemed to bang in a lot of goals, certainly League and in Europe. So if he's going over there, if he's going out and loan to impress, he couldn't do much more, could he?
No, exactly. So it's, as I touched on earlier, even without these injuries, we needed new width in the team, new players. And this is where it's frustrating. We're now at the 10th day of the month and we've not signed anybody yet. So it would have, and like, what's your chances? You know, you've got four of them out, including Forrest, because Palmer's away. He's having to leave to go home, and then Maeda and Kuhn. So it leaves us with one recognised white player in Yang. So it's, I just wish we'd signed some.
I wish we'd signed that, but I think it's obviously the injuries. I mean, the Forest one we've known for a wee while. The Maeda and Kuhn ones are a wee bit unfortunate, and obviously the Palmer one's very unfortunate.
That's
Palmer might be. The Maeda and Kuhn ones should be okay for then. Palmer, we just don't know. Obviously, he'll be going back over to Honduras, so it'll just be depending on track. I'm assuming. I'm not saying he'll be getting free rein to stay off for as long, but I don't think he'll necessarily be rushed back, considering it was, I think, by all accounts, I think it was his grandfather that's passed away. So I think the club will be decent with him and just be like, well,
they need
as well. He's probably got to have to stay over there till the funeral, probably, to save him travelling back and forward. So I think he might be unavailable for Tuesday as well, if that's the case, but I just don't know. But the team will be interesting, Jed, and on that, I'll ask you for your predicted lineup if you could even do it.
Right. Schmeichel, Johnson, Trusty, CCV, Taylor. McGregor, Engels, Bernardo. And I'm going to go Kyogo in the wing with Yang and Ida up front. Have I missed? Is that 11? Have I missed?
No, I think everybody, and I think that'll be the team. But the only one I would maybe swap it's got to sound mad. I would probably swap McCowan for Yang, because I just, as I said earlier, I tried to stick up for the guy. I've tried to back him up, but I just think that the Yang experiment's done. He's been here for 18 months and he's just doesn't look to be at the level. I mean, in his defence, every time he gets the ball, he looks to go forward and try to beat a guy, but he's just got zero end product. I don't know where you are with Young, Jed.
I thought a few prior to this coming on as a sub, he had some decent games. My concern would be, Fran, if we don't start with him, what's that going to do to him for confidence when he's the only recognised winger?
When they've got all the wingers out of
that would be the ultimate
good
boot,
point.
And you know what? So that's how I think.
Yes,
he's got to play, because let's say he doesn't start him, and then in a couple of weeks' time or something in a game in he's coming on as a sub.
He's
saying, we need you. He's going, well, you didn't need me 2 weeks ago when we
when you had nobody.
recognised wingers. So that's how I think he will start. I do think Yang will start.
I think he's got to start when you put it like that, because like you say, I don't think we're looking to, certainly it doesn't look like we're trying to ship him out the door in this window anyway. So it's a good point you make. You might need him for games down the line, and if, like say, if you don't play him tomorrow when we're missing 4 guys, that's just got to do nothing for the guy. Absolutely nothing for the guy. But so I'll probably scrap the McCowan suggestion. I think I'm going with your team. I think if maybe we had the wingers available, we might have seen a couple more changes. But I think we've got to go big, and certainly defence and in the midfield, just to try and compensate what we've got to missing the wide players. It might just be a bit of a scrappy affair, and we'll just need our quality hopefully to shine through. But
Franny, if we did have the wingers, say we didn't have the injury situation at the moment, I would actually be tempted to not to play McGregor. Because if you look back at the game in was it Boxing Day? When McGregor didn't
I know the one you're talking about where he didn't play,
I thought that the best we'd played in weeks and weeks. Was it after the rain? I can't remember. There were that many games recently.
I think it was prior to the Rangers game. I think it was pre-Rangers game.
And we moved the ball so much quicker. But look, I just personally think he's a yard slower than now, that's all.
I think it would be a big call, especially with being an away game up to Dingwall, which it can be tricky. It might just be playing in my head that it feels like it's always a tricky away fixture, because like say we had to score goal.
We've been getting beaten. We've had to score late goals up there. There's the game earlier in the season and the Ralston goal and injury. So I think that's
just feels like
their mind.
It just maybe, but maybe if you actually looked into it, it's probably not as tricky a fixture as we actually think. But I just think with the guys out, it would be a big call to leave McGregor out, I think, going up there. So I think he's nailed on to start.
That's not Huddersfield Ross.
Exactly, and that's another reason I think it'd be massive to leave him out. I think it's easier, I would say, to leave him out at Parkhead, with the pitch is a bit bigger and you'll maybe dominate a game a wee bit more. I'm going to ask you for your score predictions, Ed. It's got to be
2-0. We'll get a penalty.
I would take it.
And Engels will score the penalty.
I would take a 2-0. I think, considering that we're going to be a wee bit short in the wide areas, I think 2-0. It sounds obvious, but I'll take anyone. But I'm going to go for I think I'll go for the traditional sort of a 2-1 up at Dingwall and put it to minus 18 points. And I mean, I think I fully expect Rangers to beat St Johnstone at home, but it just, again, it puts a wee bit of seeded out, puts a wee bit of pressure in them. And not that I think the league's in any doubt, it's just more for the banter, I guess, just the further and further they can slip behind us.
I mean, I think there was a planned protest tonight, and I think there were 6 people there or something like that. So, look, we'll worry what we're doing, and they can do what they want to do. And we've got bigger fish to fry at the moment, so we just want to keep winning. I want the treble. I want the treble this year.
Yeah.
I know we've won loads of trebles, but you've got to mind it was only when Martin O'Neill came. That was the first treble I'd ever seen. Yes, we've seen a lot since then, but I want to make it I think that should be our 9th treble in the club's history. So that's what I want.
Right.
I want us to go out and just put the league to bed, and then we can try and look after the cup as well.
Well, that's it. If you can. Like I say, I don't think we're going to have any issues with the league, but the bigger lead you can get, it maybe means you can manage the team a wee bit round the cups to then focus a lot on the cups. And who knows, if we get a wee bit lucky and getting the qualifier, the ball accounts, the knockout phases of the Champions League, you can maybe rotate the team a wee bit, and hopefully in an ideal world, it will depend on the draw, but maybe get a wee win in the knockout phases of the Champions League. So the more wins we can get domestically up until that can only benefit us for that, I suppose, Jed.
Yeah, and I mean, let's hope we can look back and say the defeat we had on the 2nd of January was a turning point for us. Who thought, no, we need to, we have to be at it all the time. Personally, I thought we were in that thing. This will be easy. So let's hope we've learned from it.
Yeah.
And we go, well, the last 2 games we've got the 6 points, so it's going. But the next 2 games, we've been away from home. Dundee will be on a high as well.
Yes.
So they will. I thought they played pretty well last night when I watched the game. And Ross County is, like I say, they'll be well and truly up for them. I imagine, like, they'll be thinking, if we can get a scalp here, we can beat Celtic.
Yes. Aye. It just kicks them on a wee bit even more and stuff, and it's 3 points that they'll not be expecting, so the pressure's not on Ross County the more, I feel like. Not that I think we're loaded with pressure, but being at Celtic, the standard is you have to win every game. Obviously, we don't do that, but that's what's expected. So I'm looking forward to the game. It will be a tricky affair, I think, just simply due to who's available. But I hope Brendan Rodgers just, again, for the banter, maybe has a wee, especially if we win, has a wee dig about players being injured, just for a wee subliminal message over to Mr. Philip Clement, I guess.
But also as well, I don't really like talking about the other mob and that. But I'm watching the game last night. It was after Dundee had 10 players out. I
know, and because they were Chris Boyd was even talking about it, because he was saying how Clement was like, Clement sitting saying how they played a centre half made his debut. It was like Dundee had 2 guys that made their debut, and one of them was a 19-year-old Mexican lad that they just brought in or something. And you're like, he's like, so didn't he try and tell me that you've got a guy in that you brought in for AC Milan, and you're saying, oh, well, it's just his first game? Yeah. It's like they brought in a guy for Mexico, for somewhere in Mexico, and another guy for down south. I think he'd only came in the Wednesday. They said the boy Donnelly or something. I think I heard them saying in commentary he only came in the Wednesday, then played on the Thursday. It was like, so in fairness to Chris Boyd, he had a nice meltdown, but he had some home truths for Clement, I think, which was nice. Yeah. But I kind of hope they win on Sunday. Just more, I say that as tongue in cheek, because I think the more sort of victories they can get against your St Johnsons of the world, it just keeps him in a job longer and keeps the banter going on a wee bit.
I mean, obviously, I'm hoping for other reasons as well, but I personally wouldn't like to see St Johnstone going down.
I'm not. Well, I probably not.
That went backwards over the last 2 seasons, but there's other teams I'd rather see going down than.
To be honest, probably Ross County is one of them. I just think Ross County are not in club.
Tiny wee park up there, and it's
Dingwall's a shithole as well.
And sorry,
I don't think anybody. Dingwall's a shithole as well.
Yeah, I mean,
I've been up there and worked
loads when we're working things like that. They've got some nice surrounding areas, but yeah, it's just a tiny wee stadium. So I'd rather see St Johnstone, and also as well because when you play St Johnstone, you got the two stands plus a wee bit of the main stand as well. So the away fans get to go. So that's another reason why I don't want them to go down.
Yeah. Nah, I mean, I wouldn't be against them staying up and stuff. There is probably other teams I would prefer to go down, but they look in a terrible, terrible state of now, St Johnstone. Yeah. But I say, well, that's not for us to be concerned about until we play them again, I guess. But we'll wrap up there, Jed. It says we've only been on for just under 50 minutes, but we were talking for about 20 minutes before that. So
no, and I appreciate that, Franny. I think it's been,
we'll put in
a lot of people will back a full week's work for.
I know.
And I think they'll be knackered. So
a bit knackered. Don't worry, I'll sign off the timesheet to Stephen. We'll still get paid the full hour and that. So don't worry. We'll make sure that's sorted. He'll not be watching anyway, so he'll be none the wiser. He's got the kids tonight, but just thanks to everybody in the comments and stuff for getting involved. Sorry about the mishap at the start. I'm blaming somebody that's not here to defend herself. That is mocked about with how the podcast starts, and me and Jed were honestly talking away for about 20 minutes before I realised we weren't actually live. Jed even went on YouTube to make sure to double check and said no or no. So I appreciate you sticking with us, and we'll be back in Monday talking about hopefully a win up in Dingwall, and let's say worst case after the weekend we'll still be 15 points clear at worst case. So all that's left to say is Stephen's phrases a wee hail, hail, stay well, keep safe, and hail, hail.